What's up, YouTube? I hope you guys are having a really great day. Welcome. My name is Kimberly Graham. I am with KG Financial, or Kimberly Graham Financial Coach, Yeah. All right. And welcome to my YouTube. This is a YouTube that I just started. I'm really excited about it. And it's all about budgets. I'm super passionate about budgets. It's a little bit insane, but I really like to bring content to you that is actually understandable, that is something that you can easily take in. I try to give it in nuggets that you can easily share with other people that might be interested in the same type of topic, but also easily understood. I also have several different places where you can find me on social, and you can find all of those links down below. Today, we're going to talk about fluctuating budgets. Is it possible to budget on a fluctuating income? All inquiring minds want to know. If you're a business owner, you have a fluctuating budget, then you definitely want to make sure you listen in. So if you have a fluctuating budget, that means that you are unable, that you're not making the same amount of money every single month. Maybe you're making an average of around that time, but it could fluctuate depending on what's happening. So if you're a waitress, a server, a bartender, there are other types of hourly types of jobs where some days you might work extra, some days you might work less, some days you might get cut. Whatever that case may be, your budget or your income is going to look different every single time. And so people ask me often, a lot of times when you hear budgeting advice, you hear budgeting advice from a person who makes a salary, the same amount every single time. And it's easy to budget on that because you're making the same amount. But when someone's making a fluctuating budget, it gets a little bit tricky. So I'm going to give you some tips that might help you understand your fluctuating income and also understand how to budget on that fluctuating income. So tip number one is you want to make sure that you know exactly what, you want to make sure that you know exactly where the money is going, right? So forget your income for a second. Let's just talk about how much does it take to just handle your four walls. You want to make sure that your food and groceries is taken care of. You want to make sure that utilities are taken care of, rent, and miscellaneous things. So you might have some other things like subscriptions or personal things, clothing fund, all that good stuff. So first off, you just want to be able to take the last 30 days. That's what I always tell my clients, to take the last 30 days and just scour through that. Okay. Even your credit cards, all that good stuff, and see how much do you actually spend in each of those categories, right? Then I want you to actually counterbalance, right? So once you have that and you've calculated how much you actually spend in each category on average, then I want you to go back and actually think about how much you actually on average bring home. I understand that some months are going to be higher than others, lower than others, but just think on average, how much do you normally bring home based on what you're doing? And if you're able to budget off of that income, you're going to be better off than if you decide to say, oh, well, I'm making more this month and I know that I'm making more, I can go ahead and spend more. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at that and you're going to balance those things, and you're going to say, okay, am I able to live the way I'm living here based on what I have written down? Am I able to do that off the income that I can normally bring in? If the answer is no, then you're going to go back here and you're going to cut some things out. Doesn't mean that they have to be cut out forever, but it does mean that you might need to change some things about your spending. Maybe you don't have Netflix, right, for a couple months while you're trying to get yourself ready for your budget, and then you get back into it once you have enough kind of in a buffer. One tip that you can do is if you're like, oh my goodness, I really want to make sure that I stay within budget so that I can have all those things that I enjoy, to go on a cash budget, especially for food and personal things like clothes and fun money. Make sure you put yourself on a cash budget. That's really a great way to restrict yourself and say, this is all I can spend. This is all that my actual average budget does allow. Okay. So my average income will allow. So once you have that taken care of and you're kind of making changes, you can tweak some things there. After that, you might go, okay, well, what about if I have a higher month? A higher month is great, right? So once you've taken care of those four walls, if you make more that month, let's just say you make more and you're trying to get out of debt, this is a great opportunity to throw money at that debt. This is a great opportunity to throw money at some of those extra things, but regardless, that extra money should not be used to be like, woo, now I can spend money. This extra money should actually be used as savings. I encourage you to start some other little bank accounts called sinking funds where you can actually name them for things that are going to come up in the future. For example, your tires will need to be fixed at some point. If you take public transportation, you're going to have to do something to get that money to make sure that you're taking transportation. If you take Uber and you tip, you need to make sure, do you understand what I'm saying? You can make these little savings accounts for these things that are going to come up. Maybe you want extra money just for an emergency, right? For when you have a lower month or when you go on vacation and you have to take off an extra week and you don't have pay for that. You want to make sure that you start, when you have bigger months, you start saving up for those things for the future. So that way, the next time you have a lower month, you're not going, oh crap, now I have to cut off everything, or I can't eat this month. You're going to be able to say, I actually have a buffer available for those opportunities or for those times when I'm not making as much. I actually have something saved up, and I have it divvied up in a way so that I know that this is for fun money. This is for car insurance that's going to need to be renewed, and that doesn't happen every single month. Sometimes it's like quarterly. That means it's definitely your tires are definitely going to need to be changed. So go ahead and start saving for that stuff now. So things like that, you can start making bank accounts for, and that should help. Another question that I get asked is, what about if I'm the person, maybe there's two of you, maybe you're both doing fluctuating budgets, you could do the same thing, or fluctuating income, you can do the same thing I just mentioned. But also there might be a time where some of you might be like, well, I make the fluctuating income, my husband makes the paycheck, the solid paycheck. So a lot of business owners fall into this category. A lot of people fall into this category. My husband and I fall into this category. And this is why I know this information, because this is something that we do all the time. So we budget by paycheck. Budgeting by paycheck is definitely another method you can use if you're interested and you know some other people. The Budget Mom is a really great resource. I hear about her all the time, but I do follow her. The Budget Mom is really great. I'll put her handle and information down below. She really does have a really great way of how to budget by paycheck, and she does an all cash budget. So if that's something that interests you, definitely go visit her and check her out, because she's amazing. I know if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey is very much more cash budget, but also investments and all that good stuff. And so either of those are great. And I've actually studied and looked at both of theirs, and actually have had to use some of both of theirs and other processes, and I've kind of mashed them all together and made something that worked for me, because that's what budgeting should be. It should work perfectly for you and your lifestyle. So with budgeting by paycheck, we chose to do ours electronically. So we have 3 paper envelopes that we use for cash. One of them is for groceries, the other one is for fast food or for restaurants, and the other one is for our baby girl, Sophia. And so that's what we use to kind of help keep us on budget. And most of the time, whenever we've gone to a cash budget, we have found out that we actually don't use as much money that's in there. We actually find that we save a lot more money, and thus that money actually goes towards our house, because we want to pay off our house. So that's where it goes, and it's really awesome. But for what we do with our budget is we do the same thing. We went through the last 30 days or whatever, and we know exactly how much we spend. Because we've been budgeting forever, we know exactly how much we spend on each and every bill. We don't have debt, so it's really a very fast budget meeting. So his budget actually, or his salary, takes care of our 4 walls. It makes sure the mortgage gets paid. It makes sure that we actually have money for groceries and food. It makes sure that Sophia can actually get diapers and stuff like that. So all of our necessities are taken care of. When I bring in my income, which is not necessarily all the time, it fluctuates from month to month. And so when I bring it in, that's when all the other stuff gets taken care of. And because we know that sometimes I may get paid at the beginning of the month, sometimes it might be the end of the month, sometimes it fluctuates, it's all over the place. Because of that, what we do is we've already started paying and putting extra money in different sinking funds. And so when it comes time for Netflix to come due, or we don't have, like I said, a lot of bills, when our cell phone bill becomes due, right? We're not stressing about that. It's already saved in our bank account, so we already have money for it. And we have an emergency fund that is way over 4 or 5 months that helps us out for whenever we're like, oh no, I haven't gotten paid yet. I'm gonna get paid next week. It's not a big deal. We move it over, and then when I get paid, it replenishes our sinking fund, or replenishes our emergency fund. So once you get into a habit of doing that, it doesn't really scare as much. But all in all, those are some really great tips to kind of help you. You definitely want to make sure that you have several bank accounts that to kind of help you gauge and organize where your money is going, and what you've been bringing in on average. You want to make sure you budget off of that, and make sure when you make more that it goes towards the things that are going to help you when you have lower months. And then when you're happy with where your money is at, then you can start saving up for some of the fun stuff like vacations or things of that nature. So I hope that helped you out. If you are a person who's dealing with a fluctuating budget, if you have any other questions, please comment below. If you want to hear more things about how to budget in specific situations, let me know below. I'd love to hear your comments. And if you have any other ideas, maybe of how you do it, or if you are a person who is operating on a fluctuating budget and you have a tip that you'd like to share, please share it below. Make sure that you contact me. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you guys have a really great day, and I will see you guys next time with our next budget video. What? All right, guys, have a great day. I hope you guys are ready to make some money and ready to actually know where your money is going so you can have a profitable year. Have a great day. Bye.